by the makers of Wallace and Gromit. What's wrong with local talent doing it? Now, I will slash unnecessary spending, because let's not forget this is your money. I will look at local government contracts, remove nepotism, I'll challenge the tendering process, and I will challenge the working from home narrative. I will also pledge to cut the local government workforce by 10%. We need a leaner and more productive local government. We need to ensure that it works for the taxpayer. By eliminating waste, what will that mean? Lower taxes for you. That's the most important thing. And our books will be open and be transparent. Now, I'm running out of time. I've got a whole plan for skills, but do you know something? And I'll be, as I said, pushing back on the net zero policies. But can we also put our hands together for Richard and Nigel? We are the only party, and Rich has done a hell of a lot of work on this, to push back on the net zero narrative and actually have a plan which suits Britain and the British people. So can we put our hands together to Richard and Nigel? Now, net zero, I believe it's been destroying jobs and it's been driving up energy prices. Now, industries such as our farmers and agriculture and steel, they're struggling under these unnecessary restrictions. We must embrace common sense energy policy, which Richard and Nigel have put together. Now, Lincolnshire needs to lead the way on nuclear and hydrogen energy. We need to be creating jobs and lowering bills. And most importantly, in Lincolnshire, we need energy independence and food security. Now, let me be your strong, unapologetic voice that speaks up for the silent majority. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to act is now. We need your vote. We need you out on the streets delivering our leaflets. I've got 500,000 to deliver, by the way, if you want to help me. It's a good way to keep trim. But, do you know, here in Lincolnshire, only the Reform Party can save Lincolnshire. Only Nigel can save Britain. Clap for Nigel. Now, Reform stands up for communities, for country, and also important for me, for families. And regarding family, I'd like to introduce you to two family members who's important to me. My sister Deborah, do you know she had the COVID jab? She ended up in a coma. She woke up paralysed from the neck down. They said she'd never walk again, and in 9 months she walked. And she's been my rock. I'd also like to introduce you to my 7-year-old son, Clifford. You know Clifford? When I joined Reform, he begged me to become a party member. So Clifford is probably one of the youngest Reform Party members. Deborah, Clifford.
I now call the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage.
We are the new kids on the block. We have no experience in this Parliament whatsoever, even though some of us have tried many times over the years previously to get here. So we can't judge you from working in this place, but we can judge you from the way the outside world sees you. Believe me, folks, this is just the first step of something that is going to stun.
Ladies and gentlemen, fizzing with ideas and plans and energy. What's been missing for so long under the Conservatives? This is a massive, massive opportunity. And what you've heard from Andrea is that if she wins, when she wins this mayoral election, then we can make a huge difference in all those areas. Just one that she mentioned about flooding. With Andrea's help, that'll give me extra weight in order to negotiate with the Environment Agency. I've had meetings with them, the directors, I've had meetings with ministers. We know that you've got to dredge our rivers. We know that's how you stop the flooding, and we also know that the Environment Agency are putting badgers and water voles ahead of homes and businesses, and that is wrong. And that's why I know that with Andrea's help, with that extra power and leverage of this mayoralty that we can help everybody in Lincolnshire. There is no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, not only does Lincolnshire need reform, but Lincolnshire needs Andrea. But of course, that's just one county. And we have to worry about not only the county of Lincolnshire, but we have to worry about our country, because our country is in a terrible state. But I have good news, folks. In the same way that a bad boss can ruin a good business in 2 years, a good boss, a real leader, a strong leader can turn around that business. And that's what can happen with running a country. Because with a good, strong, passionate leader, we can make Britain grow again. And we can make Britain great again. Do you want to make Britain great again? Well, let me tell you, folks, I've had the unique privilege of working with Nigel for a decade. Time flies when you're having fun. And let me tell you, I know, you know, and I think the country is beginning to realise that actually the next elected Prime Minister to save this country needs to be our Nigel. And before we welcome Nigel to the stage, let's just have a little taster on the video. Let's play the video.
I now call the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage.
We are the new kids on the block. We have no experience in this Parliament whatsoever, even though some of us have tried many times over the years previously to get here. So we can't judge you from working in this place, but we can judge you from the way the outside world sees you. Believe me, folks, this is just the first step of something that is going to stun all of you. Thank you very much.
Nigel Farage's Reform UK ahead of the Tories for the first time.
The party has rocketed up the polls since Nigel Farage announced that he was taking over as leader.
Re-energise Reform and seem to give them a poll boost.
Hard work is the only way anybody succeeds individually, and hard work is the only way we're going to have a chance as a country to turn any of this around. You know, for a Labour Party that couldn't define what a woman was, couldn't define what a working person was, well, after today I'm pretty convinced they can't define what economic growth is.
We believe that a society looks after its weak, but encourages everybody else to do the very best it can. We don't care about skin colour, we don't care about orientation, we care whether you share the values of this country. We care whether you obey the law. And we'll judge you on who you are. We'll judge you on who you are as a person. Isn't this what everybody wants? Is that what we're going to fight for? Can we make history? Are you going to be part of it? Thank you very, very much indeed. Good evening, Lincolnshire. It's great to be back. I was here in 2019 and we did a meeting for what was then known as the Brexit Party. It's changed names since, but it's the same party. We did a meeting in here in 2019 and it was a really important political meeting because it was a couple of weeks away from a European election where we went from nothing to winning, getting double the number of votes of the next party, and it led to the ejection of, I think, the worst Prime Minister that I've seen in my lifetime. Who's the worst Prime Minister? Yes, he had loads of answers. No, it was Theresa May, because she was stopping Brexit. And we forced her resignation, and that meant we managed to leave the European Union. That happened in this hall, and that mattered. That mattered. Now, once Richard and I had been in Parliament Square on the 31st of January 2020, as 11 o'clock came and the ticker came for us to leave the European Union, what a moment it was. What a moment it was. I'd been training all day for it. I'd been to lunch, been in a couple of pubs, but it was a big moment, and I really thought, that's it, I'm done, I'm retired from politics, I've done my bit. What got me back into it last year was a genuine feeling that absolutely everything about this nation that was great, everything that we'd grown up with, everything that was fought for and defended, all the values that really matter were frankly in decline, and chiefly because of appalling political leadership coming from both parties. And I saw us in societal decline. I saw us in societal decline, in economic decline, and I thought something has got to be done. And as I made that fateful decision to give up a nice easy life and get back into the front lines, as I came up to London in the car, I thought, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? What is it that's really driving me? And three things came to me. The three things that mattered to me more than anything else. Family, community and country, and that is what this party is founded on. That is what we believe in. And we're going to fight and defend all of those things. Now, we made a good start. We made a good start in the general election, but folks, this time, as we head towards May the 1st, this is for real. Doesn't matter what the odds say, doesn't matter the fact the Conservatives have over 50 seats on the council, doesn't matter that the bookmakers say that Andrea at this moment in time is only second favourite. Remember what happened in Boston and Skegness last summer. A massive Conservative majority was overturned by Richard Tice. And I believe we can do this. Now, one of your candidates earlier, Chris Reeve, gave me a quote. I think it's quite appropriate. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Steve Jobs. Can we, let me ask you, can we win the mayoralty and Lincolnshire County Council? Can we do it? Well, let's hope we do. And I tell you what, we are very, very lucky with our opponents. It's what Napoleon said, don't give me good generals, give me lucky generals. And we've just got to say a huge thank you to Rachel Reeves. Big thanks to Keir Starmer. Because not 10 months in, they are making a complete and utter horlicks of the whole thing. Rachel from Accounts, as she was dubbed by Lee Anderson, will get up tomorrow and give the spring statement. And we all know that over the course of this summer, there'll be very large numbers of people working in hospitality and indeed in retail who will lose their jobs. We know that we're getting poorer. Gross domestic product per capita has fallen for 6 of the last 8 quarters. And all of this goes on as mass migration reaches levels never seen before in the history of our country. And we learn that the last 3 million people that came in from outside Europe under a Conservative government, of the last 3 million, only 22% are working, and we're paying for the rest, and it's making us poorer. It's madness, and only we have got the courage and the guts to stand up and call it out and to say, we're not against anybody. We're a non-sectarian, non-racist party, but the population explosion has devalued the quality of life of everybody in this country, and we, if we win the next general election, will end this in its tracks. Be clear. And Starmer said he'd smash the gangs. Well, 1,500 young men have come in the last 5 days alone. We're now on for a record year. And hundreds of them, of course, are being put in counties like Lincolnshire. And the only way we deal with this is we've got to get rid of the European Convention on Human Rights and get back our sovereignty. The only way. And be in no doubt, if people come illegally, they will be deported as they used to be, as is just and proper. It's the only way to stop people coming. Now, here in Lincolnshire, we haven't got to worry too much about the Labour Party. Their vote was up on July the 4th last year. It will be significantly down on May the 1st, believe me. No, we are taking on the Conservatives in pretty much their strongest county in the whole of the country. So how do we think the Conservatives are doing running Lincolnshire? Well, one or two interesting little facts here. This, of course, Lincolnshire is known by many, proudly, as the Bomber County. And thank goodness we've stopped Scampton from taking in 2,000 young men. A campaign that I was at the forefront of from day one. And I did pop into the Dan Busters pub earlier on the way here. But boy, we've still got enormous problems. And you know, I find it really difficult to believe that the Bomber County will be known in 10 years' time as the Pylon County. You will be a party of pylons, a party of substations, a party of solar energy on some of the best Grade 1 agricultural land in Britain. It is madness, and guess what? The Tories started it, and Red Ed Miliband wants it to continue. And all of this at the same time, as we discover there is a massive natural gas field under the county, which could provide thousands of well-paid jobs. And even when the wells are filled, they won't take up more than half the size of a football pitch. Lincolnshire should be having a debate about whether we take this treasure from under our feet. We'll get none of that from the Conservatives. We've got to open up that debate in this campaign. And it really matters. And what about money? Well, your council tax is up by 21.5% over the course of the last 5 years. The boss of Lincolnshire Council earns 60,000 quid more than the Prime Minister. Do you think they're doing a good job? No. Well, the numbers actually take some believing. You see, they're now spending £200,000 a year on interpretation for foreign languages. They are filling up hotels in Skegness with young men who are called asylum seekers, damaging the town's industry. They're paying £50,000 a year to a green ambassador. Did you know that Lincolnshire County Council owns 7,000 pieces of art? I'm not making this up. I haven't gone completely mad, I promise you. And yet they don't even know what the value of it is. They're spending money on equalities. They're wasting money in the most extraordinary way. They are now in debt. And yes, I know that funding from central government has been cut. And yes, I know that the bill for social care is going up. And we understand these are real problems. But they've led this county so badly, It is now £460 million in debt. And wait for this. If you take nothing else home with you tonight, take this one fact. The interest on the debt that is owed by Lincolnshire County Council, the interest alone is costing council taxpayers in Lincolnshire £52,000 a day. It's almost hard to believe, isn't it? £52,000 a day. Now, we can't promise to come in and wave a magic wand. We can't promise to have all of the answers. But we can promise to give the county a fresh start. We can promise to bring in the brains of people who've actually run real businesses, you know. Because we have to get a grip. We have to get a grip on these finances, or goodness knows what the future of vital social services is going to be. And what about law and order? What about policing? Well, it's all very well and good, I know, to celebrate LGBTQ plus IA week, or whatever it may be, if that's where you want your money spent. But the fact that now people, and Richard knows more about this than me, I'm being smoked out, look. The fact that people won't even go into Boston of an evening for an evening out for fear of crime suggests to me that the priorities of policing are wrong, and that we need tough policing on the streets of Boston and around the county. So we can bring in a genuinely fresh start to this government, and I think we've got every chance of doing something really, really special. This is, May the 1st, is our first really big hurdle since the last general election. Now, it's good that we have so many candidates, and they're sitting here in the front row. They're not a bad-looking lot, really. It's good that many of them have not been in politics before. But it's equally good when people join us who've got experience of politics at all levels, like Dame Andrea Jenkins, who I'm thrilled is standing as our candidate. Andrea joined us just before Christmas. She was the 100,000th member, and we've more than doubled our membership since then. Something is happening in this country. Something is happening in this county. We're attracting candidates of her calibre, and I'll be back to help her between now and May the 1st. I want Andrea to win. We want Andrea to win. Because I know that she will do us proud. Of that I have absolutely no doubts at all. Now, there are many people in other parties, independents, other organisations that are joining us. And by the way, did you notice that one of the well-dressed members of your audience turned up wearing a Lincolnshire tie? Well, he's not wearing it anymore because I've nicked it. Now, we have some people who are joining us this evening who I'm going to ask to come onto the stage and introduce themselves. First, we have a councillor on East Lindsey District Council. He's been leader of the Skegness Urban District Society, a sort of independent-style party. Councillor Danny Brooks will, from this moment in time, represent us on East Lindsey District Council, and he joins me on the stage now.
Thank you. How do you follow that, the masters? So yes, I'm a councillor on East Lindsey District Council, and as of today, I'm making the announcement that I'm joining Reform UK. As Nigel has said, recently, up until today, I've been the leader of the Skegness Urban District Society. a party we formed because we didn't believe any of the major political parties truly represented us. We stood for real people, real needs, fighting for Skegness and the wider area of Lincolnshire. But now with Reform UK, we finally have a national political party that shares our values and our priorities. A party that stands up for real people, real communities, and real change. That's why I'm proud to stand here today and say I'm with Reform. And let me tell you, Lincolnshire needs reform desperately. Lincolnshire is under attack like never before. The failing infrastructure, our roads are riddled with potholes crumbling under our feet. 50-metre high pylons to blight our beautiful countryside. Solar panels taking up farmland which should be used to feed the nation. And it's clear that the present government is hell-bent on finishing off farming in the UK. The dreadful inheritance tax could be the final nail in the coffin of Lincolnshire's farmers. This has got to stop. I'm just a poor ice cream man from Skegness. And I've had my business rates bill drop on the mat this week, and my business rates have gone up by 140%.
Right.
How can a small business sustain these, it's madness, it's madness. So for too long, our voices have been ignored, our communities have been left behind. We need proper investment, we need real leadership, and a party that puts Lincolnshire first. That's why I'm urging everyone to get out and vote on the 1st of May, because this is our chance to bring real change. Together with Reform UK, we can fight for a better future, a fairer, stronger and more prosperous Lincolnshire. So what I say to you is, let's make it happen. Thank you.
Danny, thank you very much indeed. Now, our next councillor has a very similar surname. He's Councillor Jimmy Brooks, and he's Danny's brother. He's also a councillor on East Lindsey District Council, and as of this moment, he's going to be there for Reform, and I welcome him up to the stage. Jimmy, where are you? Good man.
Hi everyone, thank you very much. I'm Jimmy Brooks, Councillor for East Lindsey District Council for Burley Marsh. And I'm proud to stand here tonight and say that I have joined Reform UK. Like Danny, I was a member of Skegness Urban District Society, and we worked tirelessly for the best that we could do for our local communities. But Britain is now in a crisis. And our communities face serious challenges. Here in Lincolnshire, we are not just dealing with the cost of living, we're also dealing with roads that are basically crumbling and need urgent repair, 50-metre high pylons which are being forced onto us, hopefully they don't arrive, but also there's possibilities of nuclear waste being dumped in Lincolnshire as well. It is not acceptable, and we don't want that. These are the issues that really matter to our residents. That's why I joined Reform, a party that offers the best for our country, our communities, and our families. Now is the time for everyone who believes that Britain needs reform to join our party, because working together, we can do so much for Lincolnshire and Britain. Thank you.
Jimmy, thank you very much. I should have said that Jimmy was the Deputy Mayor of Skegness. Our next speaker is the current Mayor of Skegness, Councillor Adrian Findlay. Mayor of Skegness, where are you?
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Following that is some task I can assure you of. I think Andrea, Richard and Nigel have pretty much said everything that I wanted to bullet point in a little speech. I was asked to write a few words. I'm not much of a speaker, but I do like results. And from everything that you've heard tonight, that's one reason why I wanted to join Reform. I have done a little speech, so you just have to, shame to waste it. So, good evening everyone. My name is Councillor Adrian Finlay, your Skegness North candidate for the Lincolnshire County Council elections on the 1st of May. Tonight, I stand here before you to announce a decision driven by my undisputed passion and commitment to the people of Skegness. I have joined Reform. It is not merely a change of affiliation, it is a declaration. Skegness and Lincolnshire as a whole is my home. Skegness is where I have raised a loving family and where my roots run deep. And I see, as you see, the escalating challenges that threaten our communities. We see the continuous decay, neglect and erosion of every fabric of towns, villages and the whole county. The time for empty promises is over. We need action. We need reform. And that is exactly what Reform offers the UK. A bold, decisive approach to tackle the issues that have been ignored for far too long. We are not here to maintain the status quo. We are here to dismantle it. We are here to be the voices. We are here to be the voices of the unheard and to restore accountability and to deliver real results. The road ahead will not be easy, but I am confident that together we can achieve a Reform Council for Lincolnshire. A council that cares and prioritises the genuine needs of the people. A council that restores pride in our communities. And a council that actually delivers the change we desperately need. So mark your calendars for the 1st of May. It is not just a date in your calendar. It is a call for action. A chance to reclaim our future and a chance to build a better Lincolnshire and Skegness. So on the 1st of May, vote for you and your family's future. Vote Reform UK. Thank you.
Very good. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Brilliant. Brilliant. All right, guys. Thank you, boys. Brilliant. So there you are. Reform is on the march. People are joining us. We're growing, but you know, this is about attitudes. It's about belief. We really believe in Britain. We believe in our country. We believe in our people. We believe we've been led badly. And you know, I feel very sorry now for working people. Their taxes, she'll say it tomorrow, it'll be frozen, won't it? The level at which you start paying tax will be frozen. More people going to work, and they'll look at each other of an evening and say, you know what? We'd be better off on benefits. We have to make work pay. We have to make people understand. And we've got to start teaching. We've got to start teaching our kids different values. Now, I am absolutely disgusted that the National Education Union next week, at their conference, will pass a motion that says they will tell late teenagers that Reform is a far-right dangerous party and that the youngsters shouldn't vote for it. These are the same people. These are the same people that hate our history, hate our country, indoctrinate our youth into hating everything that we've ever been and we in this room want to be. And I'll promise you, at county level, and when we win the next general election, I thought you'd like that. We will go to war with the left-wing trade unions that are poisoning the minds of our kids. We won't stand for it. Simple as. And I want young people to understand that if you want to succeed in life, you won't do it working from home. You won't do it on a 4-day week. If you want to succeed in life, you've got to work hard. And actually working hard, obeying the law, paying your taxes, being a good citizen, that's what we should be encouraging young people to be. We've got to turn this culture around completely. And Richard and others will tell you, they've said it already, I have too, we need a completely different energy policy. It is outrageous that a manufacturer in Britain is paying 5 times more for their power source than a manufacturing firm in America. We are literally deindustrializing this country before our very eyes. And our message is simple. We shouldn't be importing 40% of the gas that we need from Norway. We shouldn't be importing oil. We shouldn't be importing steel. We should make, manufacture, use all the things we need here in our country to the benefit of British workers and the British economy. Now, the opposition are very frightened of us. Very frightened of us. We had a bunch of screaming yobbos standing up and trying to shout me down in Doncaster this morning. But they're only there because they know that actually this progressivism, as they see it, this attempt to devalue everything about family, community and country, has hit a brick wall. It ought to have been the Conservatives that stood up to all of this, but because of moral cowardice and fear of being criticised, I mean, what's the point of being in politics if you fear being criticised? I mean, honestly. But because of their cowardice, they've allowed the march of the virus of Marxism right through our public institutions. And we are going to have to fight and battle to turn back that tide. But I believe, and I think you believe, that there is a silent majority in this country for good common sense. Most people understand what we're saying, and our job is to give those people a voice. And May the 1st does matter. And I tell you what, if we can do it here in Lincolnshire, there'll be no question that we are the official opposition to this dreadful Labour government, and the Conservatives would have consigned themselves to history and frankly deserved it. Deserved it. And we are. We are upbeat. We are optimistic. We are happy because we believe with the right people. We believe with people power that we not only can turn this around, but we will turn this around. We will get our country back to something like it needs to be within the next few years. And if we don't, and if we fail, then frankly, this won't be a place we recognise. We'll see more and more of our young people leaving and going to work overseas. It'll be the end of our great story. And we are not going to allow that. We're going to battle through this. We're going to win. But all of you that have come tonight in this hall, and all of you online, and we know we get huge audiences watch this live, and they're watching it on TikTok, they're watching it on Facebook, on X, on wherever it may be. I would say to all of you, if you agree with us, then please commit now to doing something about it. Join us get involved with us, help the Lincolnshire candidates, deliver some leaflets, speak to your friends, do whatever you can do. Are you prepared to join the brave men and women who put themselves forward? Will you all do your bit in this campaign? Can we win this? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay, I'm now going to ask all of our Lincolnshire County Council candidates to join myself, Richard and Andrea on the platform. Up you come, so you can have a look at who you're going to be supporting. There are 70 different seats up on Lincolnshire County Council, and rest assured we are fighting all 70 of these seats. Every voter in Lincolnshire will have the opportunity to vote for us. Come on, squeeze on, squeeze on, squeeze on. Are we all in? Great stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud as leader of this party to stand on this platform with these good men and women true. They are going into battle. Many of them have never done it before. They will get abuse and criticism. I didn't tell them that before. We know it. They will get some abuse. They will get some criticism. But I know from people like you and most people they meet, they're going to get much support and indeed much love. We are standing up for things that we believe in with all our hearts and all our souls. We are fighting with everything we've got to rescue this country from a terrible and terminal decline that it finds itself in. And we are not prepared to fail. We will not at any point falter. We are going to do this. Thank you and good night.